Hello everybody, Rick Malero here, and today I want to talk about one of the most important topics that I'll be talking through this entire course, and that's about your mind. There's an old saying that says that if you think you can, but if you think you can't, you're right. The reason why the mind is so important is because the reality is most people don't fail because they lack resource or they lack the information. They fail because they can't believe that they can achieve it in their mind, and so therefore they don't take action. The mind is a very powerful thing. Let me give you an example. Einstein said it best when he said that your subconscious state of mind proposes and your conscious state of mind composes. So let me give you perspective for just a minute. Think about this. Have you ever been to a movie and you knew walking into that movie theater that the movie you were about to watch was not real? It was made up. There were actors, they were on a set, but yet throughout the movie, when the character dies, you get emotional and you start crying. Well, you see what just happened there, even though you consciously knew that this wasn't real, subconsciously your mind records this information literally as a fact. It records the feeling, the emotions you've had in the past, and it triggers literally a thought. That active thought then creates a feeling, and that feeling motivates an action, and that action creates a result. And if you repeat it over and over again, it becomes a lifestyle. So why do I say this to you? Because if you want to be successful, the level of thinking that got you where you are today is not the level of thinking that's going to get you where you need to be tomorrow. So I want to challenge you as you go through this course and as you share all of this information that we give you, you can achieve it, but you have to believe it first. So I hope you enjoyed this information that we're going to share with you from our team, and we'll get back to you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Here, Rick Malero with Steve Landau.
Hi, everyone.
I love talking to you, Steve, just because of your mindset. You're such an awesome guy, always positive. And I love kind of the story of how you started as a client of ours and then the relationship evolved. Why don't you tell us what you were doing before, what level of success you got, and how we got kind of put together?
Well, I've always run my own business. I was fortunate enough to buy my own business when I was right out of high school, and it was a trucking business of all things. And we know what it looks like to live on the poverty level. We know what tough times look like, Rick. In fact, for 7 years, according to the government, we were living on the poverty level. And after that, we sold that business, and we sold it for a nice profit, and it allowed us at age 30 to become completely debt-free and pay off our mortgage. So with that said, that business taught me a lot about business. And since that time, we got into the insurance industry, and we built an insurance division, if you will, within a company. And we got into real estate real heavy on the side, and we bought our first house at age 18, and we just kept leveraging a portfolio of rental properties. So we have been landlords, my wife and I, most our whole life. And so with that said, at age 50, I had the privilege of a company purchasing our insurance agency, and I had the opportunity to retire. My parents have a pension. I'm used to retiring, hearing a retirement story, Rick, where my dad was a prison guard, and when he retired, he got a pension every month. And every month, he was guaranteed a check, and he couldn't spend it all. And even if he did, next month another check would come. I made more money over the period of my life than maybe my parents have made, but they're some of the richest people I know because they always have money every month. And I had this capital, and I chose to retire, but I didn't know how to, because if I spent that capital, eventually it's going to run out before I die, and I would die as a pauper. And what I needed to find was a way where I could get a fair return, and without all the headaches of being a landlord, without all the headaches of a full-time job again. And long story, very short, is his capital funding came into our lives. And Rick, you and I, if you remember, sat down and with my wife Darla, and we looked at your character. We looked We were looking for someone we could trust. We were looking for a company that would position us to win in a very fair, conservative environment. And we place some capital with you. And just as you told us, you said we'll get at least 8%. And right to the penny, it was that, and it is that today. And we've been with each other now for some time. And if you remember, about 6 months into this, investing with Rick, I was going nuts. Retirement is overrated, people.
I love it.
Yep. And Rick, you offered me an opportunity to build a brand new division inside your company. And I think I ran right down I-4 all the way to the office. And I said, I'm ready to go back to work.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just a privilege to be with you.
I think likewise. And one of the reasons why I really thought you'd be such an asset to this topic of the mindset is because even in our office, we have a joke. Like, if you're having a bad day, just hang out with Steve for a little bit.
Yeah.
And everything's going to change. And so when it comes to being in any business, but specifically a real estate investment environment, I believe the key to success begins here. It's in your mind. And that mindset is what literally triggers that positive thinking, that good attitude that really changes the game, I believe. And so why don't we start with you just kind of sharing, what do you think is so critical and how do you stay so positive regardless of the circumstances?
Well, it is all in your head and it's all in your heart. Let's start at the beginning. Each one of us have been created and designed to be highly successful. If you're believing a lie other than that, it simply is a lie that you need to discard. With that said, we are stewards of this life, and I want to be everything I can be on earth. I want to make as big of an impact as I can make. That alone lets me shoot for the stars, and I believe we can hit the stars. The other thing is keeping the right attitude. It's a choice, Rick. In every situation, you're going to have a negative, and in every situation, even if you have to dig, there is a positive in every negative situation. There is even a positive in every negative person, or even a positive in every person that hurt you. And we're going to find that, and that's my goal. And I find that, and I capitalize on that. And that positive is usually pretty powerful.
It really is.
And other people that are sitting back, dwelling on the negative, are wowed by what you found and how far ahead you're going, but really it comes to where you wake up in the morning, we talked about this the other day, and you make a choice. Today, I'm going to focus on only the positive.
And little by little, you start developing that habit. So it's, like you said, in any negative person, in any negative situation, if you look deep enough, you're going to find something positive. So you're consciously focused on looking at the positive in every circumstance, correct?
Absolutely, with the idea that we are created to be highly successful. And how is this negative situation, the positive inside of it, how does that relate to moving us as we shoot for the stars?
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So, Steve, let me ask you a question. For somebody new coming in, as you know, in the real estate space, you've been doing it for a long time. A lot of times it can be overwhelming because you don't fully understand all the pieces. You're excited because you know you can make a lot of money in real estate, which everybody knows is the #1 wealth builder on the planet. But how do you align your mindset so that you don't get overwhelmed and so that you can kind of stay focused at the task at hand?
I can tell you that I've evolved in business, and I will continue to evolve. I don't think you ever arrive.
Right.
But I will tell you I'm better today than I was yesterday and even 10 years ago. I'm very much focused on living a balanced life of peace in my business and personal life. I really found out that they intertwine. And if you're not organized at home, and if you're not organized in your personal life, your business probably isn't going to be organized or in harmony. So with that said, what I do is I make sure that things are in order at home. They're in order in my family life, my emotional, spiritual life, my physical life, everything I do. And when it comes to work, I line up systems. I line up systems, a software that will tell me what to do each week. And it'll put me in front of the right people each week. I don't even have to think about it the next coming week. It's going to pop up. And then that's a whole nother subject, but then I can focus on the value of those people and the privilege it is to meet with each one of them.
I love that. And you know what's really amazing about what you said, and this is going to open it up to the next thing that I wanted to bring up. It's one thing is being positive, having the right mindset, and looking for those opportunities. The other thing is, like you said, putting yourself in a position to win. And in order to do that, there's so much technology right now, like you were saying, that really can help you to streamline what it is that is important that you need to focus on every day. And I love that you said the balance of the family life, your business, and obviously the workplace. It is so critical to really have that balance and that focus. Yeah. One thing that I will commend you, Steve, on, and even in the office, some of the staff members will say, how is it that Steve is here less hours than we are in the office, and he's more productive than everybody, right? And I tell him, hey, learn, right? Because that's the real key, is how do you get to the place where you can do less as far as wasting less time, but do more in that shorter time. And so I love the fact that you use our tools and technology to really streamline what's important. And so now, one thing I do want to bring up, and this is the next question I'd like to ask you, is in many cases, you have people that they have the right mindset, they're very positive, they encourage people, but they never make any money. They're not very productive. And I believe in many cases is because they don't have the right plan. They don't have a plan that they're implementing. They're just kind of existing. They're kind of living each day and like enjoying it, but they don't have that goal. They don't have that direction. So because of the lack of direction, what ends up happening is they don't have a focus for today. They don't make each day count. So what is it that you do that makes you different? What is it that you're doing right now to make each day count and be productive, while other people have to work twice as much as you to achieve basically what you've achieved in a short period of time?
I think, again, I'm 26 years old, so
I love it.
I'm 50. I'm going to be 55 years old, and this July, and I'm starting to look at life a whole lot different than I was at 26. Every day, every minute is valuable, and I'm going to make the most of every day and every minute I've got. It's a gift, and I'm going to be the best steward I can at that. Okay, let's start there. As far as staying on track, staying on with my goals, when I wake up in the morning, I already knew what I was going to do today last week.
I love that.
And so when I go into that day, my system has already set up the people I'm going to meet with. And when I meet with them, they are the most important people in the world when I'm meeting with them. After I'm done meeting with them, my brain starts turning, how can I add value to these people? How can I increase their life? How can I increase their business? So if that answers some of the question, the whole point is I set up the day, I put people first, I put value first, let them win, and it's amazing, Rick, what happens. I got people coming back to me, and honestly, some days I don't know how I'm going to fit everyone in. And what's interesting about this is I found out that it's all about who you associate with and you hang out with, okay? I chose to hang out with this group at His Capital Funding. I'm part of this family, and I'm proud of that, okay? But it also goes through to your clients. You can even choose the clients you want to hang around with.
Absolutely.
And what I find is our goal isn't to do business with everyone that needs what we have. Let's face it, 8% is a pretty good return. We can find people. Our goal is to do business with everyone that believes what we believe. And we believe a win is a win is a win, where every investor can walk away with a safe, secured investment and a fair profit. And we can all do it again with a long-term relationship. That's not everywhere in the world. Sometimes greed gets in the way of a business.
Absolutely.
And people don't buy what we do. what we're finding and what I'm finding at His Capital Funding, and in a big part why I'm part of this family, is they're not buying what we do, they're buying why we're doing it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're surrounded not only in the company with good people, and you will become the person you hang out with,
Yeah.
and or the people you hang out with, but you also get to choose your client base. And all of a sudden, you're surrounded by all positive people. You can go through our passive portfolio of every single one of them investors, and every single one of them you can trust, and anyone would desire to do business with them. Now we're positioned to win. We're around the right people.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And one of the things that you mentioned, and I think this also helps us to stay focused on what's important. Having those systems in place help you to automate. Like you said, you planned today a week ago, right? And so it's so critical to really have that focus, driving value, which is what we believe in. That's what we're doing right now, is driving more value. But one of the things that I think has been a game changer for me personally, and I believe it's literally made a big difference in our company culture, and you've seen it evolve over time, is the fact that we're not doing business just for money. It's not about the money. It's about how many people can we bless with the wins that we make. And every time an investor works with us, whether they're borrowing from us, whether we're buying a property from them, or whether we're lending them money, every transaction has a bigger cause, has a bigger purpose. And so what has that done for you? And how would you encourage somebody else that wants to get in the business with the right mindset? What does that do for your business when all of a sudden you're not just driving for your money, you're driving for a bigger purpose?
What did it do for my business? It exploded my business. I used to look at a whiteboard, and believe me, people have always been important to me. I love God, I love people, okay? That's always been the key focus in every business I've had. But I can't say that when I'm looking at bar charts and numbers, that I ever saw orphans in the Ukraine as the next goal.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, lives are depending on it. And Rick, when you and I and David went over there to represent His Capital Funding and went over to the Ukraine to help these kids, we came back and it was like, I am going to double my division this year. And not just so we make more money. I mean, I want to make a lot of money. We all do, for all the right reasons.
Right.
But how many kids can we bless there?
Exactly.
The other thing is, the craziest stuff is happening when you surround yourself with good people. You're heading up container housing for veterans and the homeless.
Right.
And I didn't even tell you this, but yesterday, someone out of the blue reached out to me, and they're working with low-income housing on the same exact road that we've been focusing on.
Wow.
And they're going to meet with us.
That's awesome.
I got them set up for January 3rd.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so what happens is you become surrounded by other people like-minded that now have a bigger purpose. And our bigger purpose is to make a difference in this world. Rick, one thing that we did as a team, and you led us in this, but you had us write out our eulogy.
Yeah.
And I literally got sick to my stomach writing mine. I thought, I don't want to write about me dying. But I will tell you that too keeps me on track. Every morning I wake up, what am I going to do today to make that ending what I want it to be?
Right.
And we can make a wonderful ending by investing in other people.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, thank you so much for really sharing your heart and really your principles that have made the difference. And I can really attest. I mean, I've got a lot of staff members in the team. You are definitely on the top 3 of the individuals that not only have the character, but that you really live out what you preach, and you produce in less time more than what most people do in an entire full week. And so I'm really honored to have you on our team. And thank you so much for sharing with this audience. And guys, again, as an encouragement, you don't have to know everything. Align yourself with the right people. Look at a bigger purpose. What is your business going to do? Not just to put money in your pocket, but what is it going to do to make a difference Because the moment that your purpose is bigger than you, that's when you start being inspired, and that's when you start thriving. And like you said, just like you just mentioned now, how coincidental it is that all of a sudden people start connecting with you that plug into that bigger purpose, and it drives the fuel of the company. So I want to encourage you guys, continue to do that. Remember, it starts here, but you have to have the plan in place to be productive with what you do.
Yes, indeed.
Hey guys, I want to welcome you to this step in this real estate training endeavor. My name is David Pavlik, and I want to welcome you to the right mindset. So the right mindset in any endeavor that you're doing is really, really key. There's a couple of things that you want to focus on is the why, first and foremost. For me, your purpose, your mission, your vision is very, very crucial to what's going to keep you going through this entire process. This isn't obviously a get-rich-quick type of endeavor. This is a long-term commitment that you're making to developing wealth, to creating an inheritance for your children, your generations to come, and also leaving a legacy in those that you'll interact with on a day-to-day basis. And so in this talk, I really want to cement and really just seed into each and every one of you the concept of what mission and vision really is all about, and having the right mindset to execute on that. So we're going to talk about the actual vision. We're going to talk about a plan to get you there, because you can have the right mindset, you can have a great vision, but if you don't execute, it's worth nothing, right? And so it's really, really key. So first and foremost, vision. Each and every one of us, and I'll even go back, even in my own house, right? Me personally, for my own house, I have a vision for my family. If you're married, you're single, whatever the case may be, what is your vision for your family, for your house as an individual? Your business, every business has a vision, has a mission statement that's going to lead them the steps, that's going to give them the steps to be able to carry out and execute what that vision is all about. One of the things that happens in real estate and anything that is income producing that can generate lots of wealth, and I'm sure by now you've heard maybe some of the case studies and some of the numbers obviously get thrown around in real estate, there's a huge opportunity to make a whole lot of money. But with that said, money doesn't bring happiness. Money doesn't bring fulfillment. What's going to keep you going and what's going to really leave a lasting impact in you and those around you is your purpose and your vision. One of the things I would challenge you to start thinking about as you begin this endeavor, and it's never too early, you should start this at the very beginning. Doesn't matter if you've had any real estate success yet, if you've done any transactions whatsoever, that mission and vision, you should be laying the groundwork, it's like laying the foundation for a house. You should be establishing what that vision is going to look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now. So I want to challenge you first and foremost to start planning. What is your vision? What is your vision for this year? What is your vision for 3 years from now? And write it out, because if you don't have a vision, if you don't know where you're going, you won't know what steps you need to take to get there. So begin by doing that, write that out. You may or may not have already heard from Rick in regards to a eulogy. If you haven't yet, he's going to encourage you to write your own eulogy. If you have, I would just want to reaffirm that write that eulogy down, think about who am I supposed to be, what am I supposed to be day in and day out. That gives you that big picture. It's that same concept of what's the big picture, what's the vision that I'm trying to accomplish in this endeavor. Write those steps. One of the tools that we're going to give you is a one-page business plan that you're going to be able to fill out. It's going to establish what is vision, what is mission, what are the key steps that you need to take to accomplish, what are your priorities in what you're doing. If you don't establish priorities, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a lot of things that are going to pull for your attention, a lot of distractions. Do I wholesale? Do I flip homes? Do I build rentals? Do I hold paper? Do I sell paper? All of these different things and opportunities are going to come to you. Folks are going to come to you, they say, let's do a joint venture. Here, you're going to have partners. People are going to come to you and say, how about I put some money in this? And you need to establish what are your priorities? What are your goals? Focus on those. Anything that is outside of those, anything that's outside of those, you just put aside. With that said, there's an actual book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution that I would encourage you to read. Get that book. You can get it on Amazon. Just Google it. And it talks about whirlwinds, and it talks about lead measures and lag measures. And in this book, what will happen is you will, in a business and in your endeavor, you will establish, or whirlwinds will happen. You'll have these storms around you, these things that just day in and day out, things pulling for your attention. But one of the most important things is that you establish priorities on a day-to-day basis and in your long-term goal, your long-term vision of what you're trying to accomplish, so that you decide, or day by day, you can decide and you can set what is the things that I need to accomplish today, and everything else gets put aside and is done later. There's an analogy that's placed with the book that talks about a plane. And if you're on a plane, if you're flying, and these planes are in the air, you would agree that your plane is the most important plane. For that air traffic controller, however, the plane that is the most important is the plane that's landing. Their goal, their job is to land that plane. All the other planes are headed in their direction, they're on their journey, they're on their way, but the most important plane is the one that is landing. What we teach in our organization is that you need to establish what is the most important plane that needs to be landed. And you need to focus on that plane. Everything else is a distraction. That is the most important thing. So one of the things I would encourage you to do, step number one, is write down your vision, prepare for that, and then start establishing on a day-by-day basis what are the priorities that you need to set every day, that plane that needs to get landed every day, every week, or first 90 days in this endeavor that you're on. Now, with that said, positivity, thinking, how you think, your mindset is crucial. And I wanted to read a couple of things to you because Inc. magazine, I was reading an article some time ago, and Inc. magazine did a great job of summarizing how to get the right mindset, all right? The right mindset they teach, and this article taught, was that in this mindset, you want to imagine and think of your mindset as a voice, all right? Your mindset has a voice. As that voice, we've all have it, right? As that voice is speaking to you, give it an identity, give it a persona. It's something that you can look at and speak to and imagine, all right? It sounds a little interesting. You're not hearing voices. You're not playing with imaginary friends, but it is something that in your mindset you need to look at and think of it as a voice. And then look for patterns and thoughts, right? Just as if you were watching someone do things, you can notice patterns in their actions, their behavior, how they carry themselves. What is that mindset? What is that voice doing inside of you? Look for those patterns and thoughts, especially when approaching a challenge. Challenges are going to happen, right? You're going to you're going to come up against obstacles. Look at the patterns of how you address those obstacles. Do you run away from it? Do you back down from it? Does the frustration kick in? Does anger kick in? What happens when you come up to those challenges? Having a success mindset is necessary to overcoming the no's, okay? If you wake up every day, and when you wake up, you say, oh, it's another day, right? It's Monday. It's the day after a big party. Whatever it might be, you want to wake up and turn that mindset on, flip the switch, become successful. I mean, just speaking about it changes things. It changes how you act, it changes your mindset, changes that voice, right? So every day you want to wake up, have a routine where you wake up and you say something positive, look yourself in the mirror, say a prayer, read a scripture, do something that can get you into the mindset of today is going to be a good day. And then when you approach the challenges, those challenges are not another issue. Those challenges are an opportunity for you to grow, for your team to grow, and for your business to achieve success. You with me? Good? Good? Are y'all positive yet? Yes. You don't sound positive at all. All right. So with that said, number 2. Choose growth, all right? Mindset begins. You have to give it a persona, look at the patterns, establish patterns, figure out the things that are getting in the way of you having a success mindset, that you're actually thinking in the right, every day, no matter what goes on, you know what? Let me look at the positive. Let me look at the positive. How can I grow? How can I change? How can I help my team? Number 2, choose growth. How you interpret the challenges, setbacks, criticisms is your choice. Not everyone else's. It's real easy to blame everything on everyone else, right? All the other circumstances. No, it's you, number 1. Look in the mirror every day. Your mindset, your success is all in your hands. It's your choice. How you choose to approach those obstacles and how you choose to react to those things that are going to occur. So choose growth, all right? You can interpret these as a weakness or setback, or you can choose growth. And change your strategies. Adapt, grow, and expand your abilities. So, with that said, those watching this training, you guys repeat after me. Choose growth. All right? Important that you choose growth. That's very, very, very key, because we can have setbacks. We can choose to set ourselves back. We can choose to run the other way, or I can choose to grow. All right, so really, really key. Number 3, talk back. Talk back. When we're children, our parents tell us never to talk back. When that voice speaks up, you need to talk back. When these thoughts come into play, you need to actively speak to this voice. Tell it to reframe the negative perspective, right? Sounds crazy. Yes, you might be driving down the road doing this, looking crazy. Who cares about everyone else? I'll add a side item. Who cares about everyone else? Your success is in your hands. Other people's opinion don't matter. What matters is, are you on the path that you are designated to be on? Are you headed in the right direction? Are you choosing success, and are you choosing growth? So when these thoughts come to mind, when these things happen, you need to actively reformulate your approach to challenges and setbacks to reflect your new belief in personal growth. Actually speak it. It works. We have a challenge to our team many times that is every morning, every day, every Monday especially, but every day. Do your affirmations. Look yourself in the mirror, right? I can, I am, I will, right? Speak it. Put it in front of you, look in the mirror, and say those things as you're driving down the road. Record it on your phone. Play it back to yourself. Why do we do it audibly? Because when you speak it and you hear it back, you're getting twice, just mentally, you're getting that impact, you're receiving that information twice. You're speaking it out, and then you're hearing it come back to yourself. So it's important that you reaffirm yourself all the time. When those negative thoughts come into play, I can, I am, I will choose growth, I will choose success. So it's very, very important. With that said, all right, here's a few different perspectives on mindset, all right, mindset itself. The fixed mindset, all right, number 1, the fixed mindset says, are you sure you can do it? Maybe you don't have the talent, right? That's the fixed mindset. That's someone that has not committed themselves to growth. The growth mindset answers and says, I'm not sure I can do it now, but I think I can learn with time and effort, right? So even though you come to an obstacle that you don't know, find a mentor, find someone that can help you, get some advice. Obviously, this is why we're doing this here. You're here today for this reason. Those of you that are watching this training later, you're here for this same reason. You're seeking out a mentorship. You're seeking out someone that will assist you get through these obstacles so that you can achieve success. Be committed to that. A fixed mindset says, what if you fail? You'll be a failure. A growth mindset says, most successful people had failures along the way. Your failures are what have set you up for your successes. Your failures do not define you. Your failures of the past or your past does not predicate your future. The decisions that you make today are what changes your future, right? You have that power. You have that personal responsibility. It's all in you. But it starts here, because the mindset, the power of the mind right here is what transforms everything. So if you wake up every day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, no matter what obstacles are in front of you, no matter how much is in the bank right now, you can, you are, you will. I will do these things. I will achieve these things. Then number 4, most importantly, because we can talk about this all day long, we can have the right mindset, we can have the right words, we can have the right buzzwords, we can say the right mottos and phrases, we can wear the t-shirts, we can have all these things, but if we don't act, number 1, if we don't act, changing the script in your head can do powerful, powerful things to the way that you think. However, if we don't execute, don't be content with where you're at right now. If we don't execute, we won't grow. So it's very, very important that we execute. In closing, it talks about don't content yourself with a remodeled inner voice. Many times we do this. We get enamored with the idea and the thoughts of positive thinking, and we say all these things. We post them on Instagram, we put them on Facebook. But what do our actions say? What are you actually doing every day? So I'd encourage you to inventory that. Inventory your actions, inventory what you're doing, set a plan. This training, we're going to give you a one-page business plan that's going to walk you through this, going to force you to write these things out, establish 90-day goals, establish what those priorities are that you need to accomplish in order to make yourself successful. Identify what's holding you back. Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it frustration? What is it that you're looking at? Is it someone's perspective? Sometimes it's a parent, a family member, a friend, a spouse. What is it that you need to identify that's holding you back? And then begin to speak that. Begin to look at yourself, change your mindset, but then don't be content there. Execute. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you find the tools helpful, and we look forward to continuing to help you on this journey. Take care.
Welcome back. Rick Malero here. I hope you've enjoyed the information that we shared with you regarding how you can change your mind and focus it on things that are positive. I also hope that you've gotten a lot of nuggets that will help you to change the references that you currently have so that you too can believe that you can achieve success in real estate investments. I'm going to leave you with this one very important story that I believe can make an impact. One of my friends, before he became an investor, used to work at a restaurant as a server, really, not a big job. But when he was there, he met a gentleman named Jerry, who was the kind of guy that was so positive that you actually got sick because you were so sick of the fact that every day when he went to work, he was the most positive guy there. What was so impressive about Jerry is that he literally had people that had followed him from other jobs to his place. And when you talked to them and said, why? They said, because this is the guy that I can go to whenever I'm down, and he will inspire you to be better. Well, one day, out of curiosity, my friend went to Jerry and said, Jerry, it can't be physically possible for you to be positive all of the time. I mean, bad things happen. How are you so positive all the time? Jerry looked at him in the eyes with a smile and he said, listen, every morning when I wake up, I have a choice to make. I can choose to see the positive or I can choose to see the negative. And I choose to see the positive in every outcome. Every day when there's a challenge, I can choose to give up or I can choose to make that my stepping stone for the next level. So I choose to make it my stepping stone. Every time I could choose to quit or I could choose to move forward. So I choose to move forward. And my friend said, I can't even comprehend how you think this way. And he said, my friend, to think right, it's a choice. Now fast forward, a few years go by, my friend then, listening to that wise counsel, decided he wanted to become an investor. He went on his own, started doing deals, and they kind of lost contact. Till a few years later, he got a phone call from a friend asking him if he had heard about what happened to Jerry. And he said, no, I have no idea what happened. And he said, you see, Jerry made a mistake one morning at a restaurant and he left the back door open. And 3 robbers broke in and they told him to open the safe. And he was so nervous that as he was trying to grab and open the door, he slipped his hand. It startled the robber who shot him and he hit the ground. Now, luckily for him, he didn't die, but he was bleeding out when the medics were there. And so about 6 months after the surgery and everything else, when he was rehabilitated, my friend went to go see Jerry and visit him. When he walked up to Jerry, he said, Jerry, how are you doing? He said, if I were any better, there'd be 2 of me. Do you want to see my scar? And he goes, Jerry, are you kidding me? You're still being positive after all of this had happened. Let me ask you a question, Jerry. What were you thinking during that time? And Jerry said, you know, I was thinking I should have never left that door open. He said, did you feel anything when the bullet hit? He goes, yes. Were you scared? He goes, absolutely. But I had a choice to make. I could choose to give up and die or I could choose to live. So he chose to live. He said the paramedics were amazing. They were great. They told me I was going to be okay. He said where it got a little scary was when I got to the hospital and the doctors and the nurses looked at me with these eyes of shock thinking he's not going to make it. So Jerry said I had to make a decision that moment. I had to do something about it. So my friend said, well, what did you do? And he said when the nurse was looking at me, asking me all these questions, I heard her say, are you allergic to anything? And he said, ma'am, yes, I am allergic. I'm allergic to bullets. Well, immediately everybody started laughing and saying, are you kidding me? And he says, listen, guys, I am choosing to live. I'm going to fight for my life. Please operate on me as if I'm going to live. And I believe till this day that the reason why that man is still alive today is because he was able to even change those circumstances so that somebody else could believe in him and fight for him as well. And guys, there are going to be hard times in this business, and I want to challenge you. Always choose to look at the positive. Always choose to move forward. If you have this right, I guarantee you, you will see the income and you will see the freedom that you deserve. We hope you've enjoyed this section, and now get ready for the next one.